Come on, Sammy.
You know what?
Yeah! Let's go, baby!
Gizmo and Big E and the DNVR Hockey in the Rockies from Ball Arena.
So yeah, this version of the Avs is the one we all believed in to be a cup contender this year.
What's up, guys? Gizmo for a DNVR Insta update.
Big E's 3 keys against the Washington Capitals tonight at Ball Arena.
Friends of the show, friends of mine for a long time, the voices and faces of the ALLCITY Colorado Avalanche broadcast.
Nate McKinnon will tell you that about his team, and Corner will tell you that about the Oilers. You got to have good players around you to get those kind of nominations.
What was it like seeing the banner up in the rafters for the first time of Pierre and sort of the homage that's being paid to him?
Well, certainly well-deserved.
I don't think anybody comes close to Kel McCarr. Somewhere, somehow, he's a unicorn. There is nobody else like him.
He also had 2 other critical assists in this game. He's just different.
Lehkonen injected something in that lineup right away.
He's a freaking good hockey player.
Whether it's Mai Tais or mocktails, this is the DNVR Avalanche pregame show.
What's up, everybody, from the Toyota Lounge? It is the DNVR Avs pregame show. Glad to have you along. Of course, it is brought to you by the Toyota Lounge. That is the your front range area Toyota dealers. The pregame show presented by our wonderful friends at Coors Light. Hi, everybody. Gizmo, Rudo, Tiff. We'll have a little bit of here and there from our good friend, dear friend, Big E, as we get you ready for the first of a 5-game road trip that hugs around the East Coast. Glad to have you guys along for this one. Starts in Buffalo tonight. A very snowy Buffalo. A lot of snow.
Might be an understatement.
A lot of snow, Bob. A lot of snow, Bob. Loved our little hype video there. And again, for the record, it was iced tea and water. I am a professional consumer of the whiskey. However, there is not a chance I could take down that much in that short a time and finish a show.
Quick stomach pump is what you would need after that.
we were going for the Animal House. You know, when he's like, they took the bar, the whole bar, and he downs the bottle of Jack.
Yep.
You better? Yeah, better. That's what we were going for there, guys. So a little bit of fun, a little bit of looseness, a little bit of comedy, but we certainly are having a real great time. We talk about Bo Byram and the changeup, and we'll get a little bit more on this from Eric shortly, but just to tease it off the top, obviously there's a little bit of gravitas, something behind this game for both of those guys on either sides when you get flipped and you get to see them back for the first time.
Yeah, going back to an old building is always interesting. Some people it motivates, some people get emotional, whatever it might be. It's way too early to say who won the trade. Obviously, I'm not going to try and make any guesses on that. We don't really know who the player Bo Byram is going to develop into. I think we more or less know who Casey Mittelstadt is. And right now, you are of two minds with Casey Mittelstadt. On the one hand, he only has 2 points in his last 10 games. You need better than that. He's been very, very cold, and the Avs desperately need to start scoring more points and goals, and that comes from Casey as much as it does from other players. They need him to produce more. With that being said, on the season, he has 18 points in 25 games. It's not like he's struggling to score. He's still pretty darn close to his 60-point pace, which is what you expect out of a 2C. So it's been a little bit of a season of extremes where he's either scoring at a ridiculous pace for the first 10 to 15 games and has slowed down in the last 10. He needs to get a little bit more even keel. But realistically, if you're looking at these two players right now, I think the Avs made the right move there. I think Casey Mittelstadt solves a lot of problems that they have more than Bo Byram does.
Yeah.
Obviously, things are a little weird now with this Josh Manson injury with their defense, but the Avs have spent years and years and years without having a 2C. They've had a 2C twice in this era. Once was Nazem Kadri. They won a cup with him. This is Casey Mittelstadt's era. They have him for 3 years. Took Kadri 3 years to win a cup with the Avs. Might take a year or two for Casey to get there. Hopefully this year, but long way to go there. I think Casey should be a guy that just get on the board tonight. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be a goal, but get yourself a point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be big for him, too, to sort of kind of break out of a little bit of slump. We heard Jared Bednar talk about that to a certain degree. I think he will. He's a good player. He's a confident player. But confidence leaks sometimes. I mean, you have to try to find a way to get it back. I think he will because I can see the personality there and the ability that's certainly clear and present with a guy like Casey Mittelstadt.
Yep.
I'm watching in the Toyota chat. By the way, the juice, thank you. I take that as a compliment. Glad that you don't need the
no blue chew for you.
The blue chew. I'm glad that we're enough fuel for that fire to keep that log burning. But glad to help out with that. Moving Bo, guys, these there's so much more going on behind the scenes with trades that maybe you don't necessarily know about or are aware of when they happen, the reason why they do them. Sometimes it's for another move. I think that there's certain things happening currently in the organization right now that are building for something else. This is a team that, and I had this discussion earlier today with somebody, this is the team that I think fully can contend for a Stanley Cup this year. I think that it actually is behooving of them to be in a difficult spot right now because you're going to find that pace at some point. They're going to rack up the wins when they need to. They're going to find their way into the playoffs, and they'll make a run for the Cup. Remember, the 2012 Stanley Cup champion LA Kings made it into the playoffs by 1 point in the final game of the year and then had one of the most incredible playoff runs I've ever seen in the history of the league almost to win the thing.
I do think the Avs are set up to be, I don't want to call it a sleeper lower seed because I think everyone respects them as a team, but they may not have the point totals as far as team wins go this year because of the injuries they've gone through. And now the only thing, in my opinion, that can keep them out of the playoffs is injuries. If they continue to happen through the entire season, that's the only thing that can stop them. Not even their poor goaltending, I think, can't stop them from making the playoffs because they're just too talented of a team, top to bottom. They're too good. Even with these injuries, you still feel confident in the lineup that the Avs have, not only because you have Rantanen, Makar, and McKinnon. Those guys can help you win on every single night. But you have other talent around them that, yes, they've suffered additional injuries, but they've also gotten some guys back. Nichushkin feels like he's starting to get into the full swing of stuff. He's been one of the few guys producing over this low-scoring kind of 4 or 5 games for the Avs. You have guys behind them that, it doesn't feel great every single night, but Logan O'Connor will find his game. He'll start to produce a little bit more as the season continues to go on. There are some nice depth guys. Ivan has become a fantastic find for this organization as a depth option. These are things that are flying under the radar a little bit because the Avs keep getting punched in the face by injuries and poor goaltending, but there are a lot of things to look at that say you should be able to believe in this team still.
If you're asking me, I like the struggle. I want a little
Some
bit
adversity
of a
helps, and in the end, you get to April and you've experienced that. You know how to deal with it.
You get to April and you look in this locker room and you look around and be like, boys, you remember how we started this thing, and this is where we are now. Like, give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that struggle. Give me that push. Give me that need to have a mountain to climb. Give me that competitiveness. These guys are professional athletes. They're the best in the world, playing in the best league in the world. They know how to overcome it, and if they have that in the memory banks, they can draw back on this. I said that a few times early in the season. They're going to look back on this and be like, yeah, okay. Remember what we did here?
Yep, exactly.
Remember that game we won?
Yep.
You remember what the roster looked like? We're good. We can do this, boys.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this Buffalo Sabres team. I think this is going to be I think the Avs are going to absolutely pump in goals tonight.
I think so too. It's just a team you can't keep off the scoreboard as much as they have been for the last couple of games. They're a team who consistently this year found that game where they'll put up 5, 6, 7 goals after they get held to 1 or 2 for a few games. On Buffalo's side, Buffalo might be the most cursed franchise in all of sports. The whole city, not just the Sabres. But
you heard our conversation with Coach Don.
Yeah, exactly. Look, this Sabres team on paper should be pretty good. They should have a very high-end defense. Dahlin, Power, Byram. These guys should be good, but they're just not as good as they can be because they can't put it all together. They don't have the forwards that click with their defense quite the same way the Avs do. That isn't to say they don't have good forwards. Tage Thompson is great. I love Alex Tuck, but they just don't have the true ultra high-end forwards that someone like the Avs do. And Buffalo just never seems to be able to figure it out. They're a 500 team this year. The Avs are also close to 500, but again, when you look at the context of the Avs having a decimated lineup, they're still a better team than Buffalo's been this year.
Yeah.
Buffalo just can't seem to put all the pieces together. A conversation we hear a lot about in sports is, look, anyone can go out and get all of the best assets. You can spend all your money and go pay high caliber players a lot of money, but can you build a hockey team?
I go back to the Herb Brooks thing all the damn time.
Yep.
And I coached at a pretty high level, and I coached some really cool national teams, and I took some flack too for it. Like, oh, that guy's better than that guy. No, that's maybe on paper.
But
I
not
want
in
the
this
right
role, in this spot.
I
Yep.
want the right guy, not the best guy.
Yep.
I want the personality. I want the guy that's going to do the right things. You fit the right way, mold the right way, be the most coachable guy, be the best teammate in the room, because those things matter at the end of the day.
Yep.
They matter.
You can't just put all the talent on the same team and expect it to just work.
All-star teams don't work all the time. I'm sorry, they don't.
Yep.
Sometimes you get lucky with that, but most of the time they do not. We're going to get Big E's 3 keys in just a second here. There are some weapons on this Buffalo Sabres team. If you're watching the broadcast right now, they're talking about a few of them that I was about to get to. Tage Thompson is one. Alex Tuck, who I've been impressed with since Vegas, and getting to know him there, also very impressive. It's a dangerous team.
Yeah, they're capable of scoring at high rates. I think their defense is a little surprisingly suspect at times still.
Very suspect.
But look, when you're going up against a team like this, it starts with the top. And I know we say that every night, but if you're going up against a Vegas team where you have Nathan MacKinnon going up against a Jack Eichel, look, it's going to be a more competitive game than it should be against Nathan MacKinnon going up against a Tage Thompson. It's just the reality. Nathan MacKinnon's a significantly better player than a Tage Thompson. That gap is a lot smaller against a Vegas Eichel type of team. So you need him to be better. You need your top guys to be better. Not that they've been horrible, but you have to get the production out of those guys. It's just the reality of the Colorado Avalanche lineup. It's the reality of who Nathan MacKinnon is. This quiet stretch for MacKinnon, he's going to break out. He's going to have a 4 or 5 point night like he always does to kind of put this behind him, and then he'll go on another ridiculous tear and be at the top of the league in scoring. Buffalo is a team that, frankly, he should be feasting on.
Yeah, and I think tonight that's where my indication is. I think we're going to see a big push here offensively from these guys. I really, truly do. I think we're going to see a fun one tonight. I'm bummed we're not doing a watch along tonight for scheduling reasons.
Blame
but
the Nuggets.
We'll do some tweeting and some other stuff with you. But holy smokes, I think it's going to be a fun one tonight. We'll have fun on the postgame show. Hopefully, we don't have to drink another bottle of whiskey. Kidding. Iced tea and water again. Do you think Tiff would let me drink an entire bottle of whiskey? Tiff?
Only
Maybe.
at the holiday party.
Oh wait, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, you would.
Yeah.
Oh, do I need to think about you as my emergency contact?
I'm your emergency contact?
Yeah, you're my ice.
No, that's probably not good.
Yeah. Oh shit. All right. Well,
I'm
I'll
pod
take
aunt, not pod mom.
some emergency contact recommendations from the chat then. Let's get our boy Big E calling in with his 3 keys for tonight. Buddy, what do you got, Eric?
Big E's 3 keys tonight. Avalanche versus Buffalo Sabres. First game of the road trip for the Avalanche. So, you know what? Set the tone right away tonight. Set the tone in the first game. It makes it so much easier for the other 4 games on this road trip. But also set the tone in this game. Get after it and, don't look back and make sure you give your best effort. Sabres have lost 3 in a row. Avalanche have lost 2 in a row. So something's got to bend. Something's got to break tonight. Hopefully the Avalanche can take advantage of that. Number 2, get the lead. Get the lead. It makes such a big difference. You can tell. I was listening to Bednar's presser last game. You're a different team when you have the lead. And what it does is it just makes the other team alter their game plan. And if you alter your game plan against the Avalanche, it opens things up. And we all know with the Makars, Rantanens, McKinnons of the world, that is not a good recipe for teams to play openly against the Avalanche. So get the lead, and you have a better chance of seeing that happen, meaning the other team altering their game plan. Number 3, shot volume. You know what? Go at it tonight. You've lost a couple in a row. It's a bit of a shaky team on the other side, 500 team, but they've lost 3 in a row, one of them being in overtime. But dominate the shot volume attempts tonight. At some point, it's going to go in. There's too much talent. I know they're missing some guys still. I get it, but it doesn't matter. Go play in their own end. Get the shot volume that you want and get on top of the pucks once you've shot the puck. If it doesn't go in, if there's a rebound, you want to get that second, third opportunity, or you want to jump on the puck, pounce on those pucks and swarm them to make sure that they can't get out of their end, and then you manufacture something from below the goal line, low to high. I talk about this all the time. So this is a perfect opportunity tonight to get going. Let's rock and roll.
For the record, Tiff is 100% the aunt that you would leave with your kids. In fact, my nephew loves her, so she's fine, everybody.
Tiff's the mom who thinks she's the cool aunt, but she's actually the mom.
That is
red me for filth. Oh my God.
That is absolutely spot the hell on with exactly what is happening.
Guys, I'm cool, I swear.
All right. That could not have been more perfect. We're gonna have to clip that and use that at some point for later. That is amazing. While we still have Big E chiming in from Boston, bit of a yo-yo, buddy, with the time zones lately for these guys. It's been a jet setting. If these were United Mileage Plus customers, they'd be hitting 1K already. But what are the? I miss being 1K. By the way, if anybody out there's watching from United, you could bump me back up to 1K. That'd be great. Seriously, please get me back to 1K. So many things to say there. E, what your thoughts on the yo-yo of the time zones and the effect it has on the fellas?
Yeah, time zones can be a little bit tricky. I mean, everybody kind of reacts differently to it. Obviously the Avalanche, like you said, being on the road for like 8-9 days in the Eastern time zone, then coming home for 3-4 days, with even a trip in there to Dallas, right, which 1 hour time zone, and then coming back to Mountain time zone, and now going back east. Some guys were really strict about it. I remember like guys like Paul Correa. I think he had a rule. It was like 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what city you're in, even though you're a 3 hour difference time zone from the east to the west. And he would say, nope, 10 o'clock, I'm going to bed. And, even though it's only 7 p.m. for him. I remember Timu Solani talking about that. And myself, for example, was more like, well, first of all, it's always easier coming back, because you're gaining those 2 hours. It's always a little harder getting to the east because, like, for example, in Buffalo, you get there last night, let's say it's 5-6 o'clock. It's only 4 o'clock. And then if you're trying to go to bed around 10, it's only 8. So you're not even tired. But, you try to force yourself to go get some sleep. And the good thing is in the morning on the road, you get the later time slot on the ice. So you can actually catch up a little bit on that extra hour or two that you would normally not get at home, because on the road it starts a little bit later. Like I said, 11:30 on the ice.
Hockey is a business. Trades happen. It's never easy. I was with a friend today, golfing. I was with Billy, and he's like, God, I feel bad for Eustace. And I'm like, I get it. He goes, it's just tough, and it's a tough trade. I mean, Wedgie was on the road. He had to go home in between to go get his stuff. But again, it is a business. And we're talking a lot about it tonight, about Casey versus Bo. Okay, there's pressure on both. How do you handle that as an individual? You've been traded.
Call it a revenge game or call it whatever you want. Somewhere, somehow, your services were not wanted. It doesn't matter if you slice it the way, even if it was a hockey trade like Casey for Bo, somewhere, somehow, your service were not, somebody else's service were more important than yours. So somewhere, somehow, deep down, there is a little bit of a rejection feeling it's human nature. It happened to me a few times. I remember, especially early in my career, I got traded from Toronto to LA, and you desperately want to become a Toronto Maple Leaf, and one day to another, you're wearing a different uniform. It's the weirdest thing. And every time I played against them, and it was always, you know what, I'll show you what I can do. And for some reason, there's that thing, the curse, whatever you want to call it, of the ex-player. And I used to always score against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's just the way it was. And I think you're trying to show them, with all the respect in the world, that you made a mistake, and you look back a few years later, and sometimes it's the best thing that could ever happen to you. For example, for me, it was the best thing that could ever happen. I ended up in LA and under Barry Melrose, and it was awesome. So for Casey and Bo, there is that feeling, and on a game like tonight, you want to make sure you're not trying to do too much. You just let the game happen, and you go out there, and obviously you got your new teammates, a new jersey you're wearing, but somewhere dig inside of you, there's that little feeling that you want to show them up a little bit. That's for sure.
Be an interesting one tonight. There's going to be a lot of focus on those two, but I think we got to remember that rosters in a hockey team are 23 guys.
Yep.
And then there's a lot more that goes to a hockey team than just that. The training staff, the coaching staff, the video guys, the up in the eye in the sky. All of these things play massive factors in determining who comes out of a hockey game victorious. We saw it the other day with the call that that was made in the sky about the reverse offsides. Yep. I mean, so many factors happen. So much of the focus is on the players, but just by all means, you can't individualize it to a one or two guy situation. Let's take a look at the injuries, Tiff, if you don't mind, real quick. We'll show you kind of where we're at. Gosh, Doctor. I don't want to say, we can't use like a Grey's Anatomy reference, but it's like Dr. McLaquai or Dr. McBeardy. I don't know.
How do you say dreamy in French?
Oh, how do you say dreamy in French? Stand by. We got it. Nailed it. Shillington, week to week, not on the trip. Manson, broken wrist, assumed week to week, not on the trip. Wood, month to month, not on the trip. Jonathan Drouin, upper body, week to week, not on the trip. Ross Colton, broken foot, on the trip, skated today in red. He'll play this week.
If he's skating on a broken foot, he's close. So he's fine. Yeah.
By the way, tough guy, and can't wait to get back to interviewing him because up until he was injured, whenever I interviewed him before the game, scored a goal. So we got a little. Ross and I got a little fun something. Set up. So we'll always have a Ross Colton interview. Let's pivot right into the schedule, if you don't mind, Tiff. And I'm hot adjusting you here. What adjustments do they need to make on this trip based on what the schedule is? Buffalo today, very quick turnarounds. You go down all the way to North Carolina, back up to Detroit, over to Jersey, down to Pittsburgh. They are zipping on the crisscross.
Yeah, it's a lot of travel. For an East Coast trip, you usually think of those as pretty easy. You're bussing around up in the Northeast. This is not that type of a trip. No. You're up, you're down the coast, you're inland over in Michigan. It's a lot of travel for an East Coast trip, but the Avs should be fine with that. They're a team that every year has one of the biggest, as far as mileage is concerned, travel things just because of where they're located.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's just part of the routine for these guys, and most of them who have played here before are very used to that and know how to manage themselves. What I will say is, I think the most important thing on this trip for the Avs is how you manage your defense. Obviously, this is true always, but it's especially true with no Josh Manson, with no Oliver Shillington. You have 6 guys. That's your defense, really. Yes, they called up Middleton as the 7th guy. They don't want to play him unless they absolutely have to. You really have 6 guys for this road trip on your defense, and you've got to balance that. You can't let Cale Makar play 30 minutes every night, and you also can't burn out even your second pair guys like Sam Girard. You're going to have to read hot hands. If Malinsky's going tonight, play him a little bit more. If you're getting a good night out of Calvin, play him a little bit more. If someone's struggling, it looks like they're out of gas, back them off a little bit. You have to manage that across this road trip, or you will run out of gas.
McRuver?
I don't know how to say that. I'm not
Rouvier? I hope it's McRuvier. I don't think it is, though, because of the umlaut. I think it's McRuvier. I don't know. I'm going to figure that out. We'll ask Eric, but regardless, it's great.
River.
Dr. McRiver? Oh, this is nice, huh? We will talk about the French McDreamer soon when we get Eric on in the post game. Ask him to wear something a little bit suggestive, huh?
No, please don't.
Oui? Yeah. I will tell him to bring all of his stinky cheeses, huh? Parlez-vous français? Chicken cordon bleu. Luc Robitaille. Et donc, Shane, how is it they kiss in the France? With the tongue? Yeah? Uncomfortable? How are you more uncomfortable now than when we talk about Blue Chew? All right. You can always bet on me to make it uncomfortable. And speaking of our pregame picks for Bet365, which is never ordinary, Rudo.
Never. You got to keep it interesting. Look, the goal explosion.
Feel like I'm doing that.
Yeah, no. The goal explosion I'm expecting to come. I'm taking the over in this one. I'm also taking the Makar power play point because the Makar power play point at 155 is just too good not to take. And then you have the boosted bet from Bet365 tonight, which is the Nate McKinnon show. Nate to score a goal, Nate to get at least 2 points, and Nate to get at least 3 shots on goal. That's plus 250, I think it was. So if you're expecting the goal scoring breakout for the Avs, these are the bets you want to take. If you think it's going to continue, go bet on Buffalo or something. I don't know. I'm not interested in that conversation. I'm interested in making money with Bet365. That's why I'm betting on the Avs in this one. Make sure you go check out Bet365. Use the DNVR365 code when you sign up. When you do, you'll get not only $150 in bonus bets, but 2 months of Altitude Plus on top, as they're an official partner of both the Nuggets and the Avs now. So make sure you're checking it out. You must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today.
Lineup, exactly as it was last game. Georgiev will get the start. This is a look. Our thoughts?
It's going to be interesting. Again, I think the Avs have played some teams where you can definitively say their depth is weaker because of the injuries. I don't think that's the case tonight. Buffalo's depth is not that great. So you want to see not just a guy like Mittelstadt get going, but someone like Ivan or LOC or even a Prishchapov to get his first career point, or maybe a Parker Kelly to get back on the score sheet a little bit. The Avs really should have every opportunity to come out of this game feeling like they're good again. Not that they were bad before, but their offense has not produced enough. So yeah, I really think this should be a get-right game for Colorado if they show up and play the way they're capable of.
And they can. And I think it starts with a start. They've been there. They're fine. They're comfy. Get off to a good start. Have a good first 5 minutes.
Win the first period.
Yeah, win the first period.
We've even seen the Avs play some better first periods of late, but the result has not gone in their favor. And I've said it on a couple of my reviews lately. I'm the biggest underlying guy there is. If you play good hockey and it looks good and the stats are good, eventually things will start going your way. But at a certain point, you have to just win a hockey period. The underlyings do not matter on the scoreboard. If you're down 1-0 after the first, you lost the period no matter what it looked like. So be the other side of that. Be the team up 1-0 for once.
Yeah, being up 1-0 would be a luxury at this point, and I think it would go a long way in the confidence realm as well for Georgiev. It would go a long way in the confidence realm for you're gonna play more relaxed.
Not just more relaxed, but it's easier. We just talked about this is a long 5-game road trip. Play this game with the lead the whole way. You get to save your legs a little bit. You don't have to chase the game quite as much. Yeah, if you play from behind for 3 straight games on a road trip, no one's going to be shocked when you have nothing left on game 4. Make your life easier.
Joel, I mean, listen. DJ. Yeah, have fun. Man, there's such a big thing to that. These guys are the best players in the world, playing the greatest game in the world, making millions of dollars doing it in front of 18,000 people in some cool cities. I mean, holy shit, if you're not having fun, you don't belong to be there. You got to have fun. Having fun is the most important element to it. And you'd be surprised, and I won't name names, the number of players in the league that I've had to have that conversation with. I'm like, just buddy, go have fun.
Yep.
Like, smile. You're playing in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
You're the best of the best at what you do.
Get to play a children's game for a living.
I laugh at people in arenas when they're like, you suck. I'm like, no, they don't. Not a single guy in this building sucks because you're playing in the National Hockey League. Puck drop is coming up almost immediately.
On-time puck drop. What's that like?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's actually like 10 minutes away.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but we will 1000% tweet some stuff during the game.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a fun video from downstairs, a little update. We'll do an intermission update, you and me. We'll throw that up on the old Twitter. We will be back for the post-game show. Long road trip, so we'll be with you the entire time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you big time to our sponsor, Coors Light, to Tiff, to E, to Rudo. I'm Gizmo. See you in a little bit. Have fun. Enjoy the game.
We all silly like the mayor.